Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of sun. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of prime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to episode 341 of Fourth and Jawn. I'm Gail Saunders here with Evan Hollywood Hearn, Mr. Mal with a bad back and all. Davis, we were here talking agency frenzy. A lot of moves happened over the last couple of days, trying to catch up. I know it's Friday. Happy Friday. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. I think I am. I think a lot of Eagle fans are. I think they're waiting for one last piece of the puzzle. That would be CJ Gardner-Johnson. But let's talk about some of the moves that happened the other night. If you weren't monitoring social media, I don't think you got the whole understanding of what was transpiring. People were eye emojiing, the slaves were going back and forth. People were reading some comments between Slay and some other players from other teams. Some other Eagles content creators were just making shit up.
Yeah.
It was going back and forth. But at the end of the day, we had talked about letting some of our players do the business side of things. And some fans took it to a whole other direction. You start degrading player, you start talking about them declining. You talk about
revisionist history, bro.
It's like at the end of the day, let them do business because that's what they're supposed to be doing. That's what their agent's supposed to be doing. But at the end of the day, we get our starting corners back. That for me, I mean, I can go back. You can go back and look at the receipts. I've been wanting Darius Slay since 2020. So the fact that we have him here, still here, I'm a happy man. Bradbury in the mix. We have the 10. I called them the Clamps last year. Excited about the Clamps. Fletcher Cox is back. Another piece of the puzzle. While y'all might have won our Hargrave, we don't have Hargrave money, but we do have Cox money. Very
Pause.
I think Fletcher Cox comes back reasonable. 10 mil. It's a discount from last year. But again, holds up the integrity of the defense while we have the youth movement going on. We can still add another pick in the draft. So those are a couple of the moves off the top of the bat. What moves excited you so far? Was it Booby Miles? I know you weren't a big fan of Booby, Evan.
Wasn't a big fan of Booby. It's not that I wasn't a big fan of Booby. It was.
You don't like Booby?
No, it wasn't that. It was my comments prior to this season that just passed that I said that the man had a problem staying healthy for an entire season, which is a fair judgment based on going into last season. I mean, he shut me up, put egg on my face. Dude balled out. He had a great year, but all in all, I think that this Eagles front office and the Eagles fan base as a whole kind of view the running back position as somewhat expendable. I mean, it's something that you can get day 3 in the draft. It's something that you can go out and trade, not much value for and acquire a decent running back, like with 1 year left on his deal. So I think that Miles Sanders, while he was a fan favorite for some, it was unfortunate to see him go, but it's a necessary part of business, and that's exactly what this is. I saw a lot of controversy going on the timeline, but between the whole Slay thing that was going on, I know there was a lot of people that were out here that were going back on the things that they were saying hours ago about Slay. That was kind of foul, man. I'm not gonna lie. And you had some people that once Bradbury got signed, they started talking their trash on Slay, and I really don't understand where these people are coming from with the whole he's regressing, all that. Like, dude had a good year. Just because he started the year hot with a bunch of interceptions and then didn't have any in the back end of the year doesn't mean he wasn't a lockdown corner, man. So thought some of the talk was kind of wild.
Now the comments are people are wondering if you're okay, Mal. Shout out to Mark.
Yo, I'm on these pain meds right now, so I feel good.
So this podcast can go anyway. Huh?
it could go left, right. We gonna see. We just riding out right now, man. But no, for me, it's probably two. I like the low risk, relatively high reward moves for both Greedy Williams and also Rashad Penny, right? Like two young dudes suffer injuries throughout the NFL career, haven't really established themselves yet, but are good fits for the system, in my opinion, right? That like Rashad Penny, I love how he described himself in his introductory interview that he's a slasher, and I like that thought process, right? That like he's getting to the hole, he's a north south runner, but he can also take it to the house. And I think, if he stays healthy, that's a big question mark. But I look at him as somebody, if he does get hurt, may it be during the early part of the season, because if he's healthy for a playoff run, boy, oh boy, yo, that's the last dude you want to see in the cold at the end of the year, bro. And so, Rashad Penny definitely excites me. Greedy just as a long, lanky defender, right? The size coming in here, coming from Seattle, even though they're talking Vic Fangio, I'm sure he's gonna bring those Carroll principles in here too. Though they like those long, rangy guys that take up a lot of space when you run those zones, right? And so for me, Greedy fits that spot too. So listen, man, I don't. I'm not a GM, bro, so I'm not gonna question how he's working his magic. Some folks had to leave. Hargrave got the bag, bro, right? So what you gonna do about that? But I'll be really happy if he could bring Gardner Johnson back to be able to solidify that back end of the secondary. And you go into the draft being able to take whoever you want, right? That like you could go best player available as opposed to like, oh, I need a corner, oh, I need a defensive end. It allows you to be way more flexible.
Yeah, the thing is with CJ, that's the one news that everyone is like, yeah, my phone is blown up. What did you hear? What have you heard?
Hey,
have you
man,
seen anything on the timeline?
I
So
saw
this is what
something.
I've
I saw
heard.
something. Go
This is
ahead.
what I've heard. I've heard of he's kind of his market isn't where he expected to be. They're not seeing him as like the Jesse Bates types, more of a hybrid cornerback safety. Also, he wanted around the, they're looking at 13, maybe even more than that, but we're hearing around 7 mil. If they can get him back for 1 year, 7, that would be interesting. I feel bad for Chauncey, but hey, that's great for us running back with those groups.
Him getting hurt,
It sucks
him
that
getting
that's what
injured. Him getting injured fucked it up for him, bro. Honestly, because like he was on fire, right? But like missing that Pro Bowl, missing those games, and then Reed Blankenship being able to step up and step in, it just wasn't a great look. That like, yo, you're very good, but you're also partially expendable due to the system that we run. And so, 7, maybe talking 8 or 9 with incentives, right? That like I think that's a fair 1 year deal. Get him back.
I got more information right here that will drop his value even more, man. How about the fact that safety from the Titans, Kevin Byard, has just requested a release? So if he's going to hit the market, I think Kevin Byard is a solid safety too. And if you pit those two against each other, I mean, we're looking at, like, I get that Chauncey wants his bag, and he totally deserves it. I think he's one of the top safeties in the league.
Yeah.
I also think Kevin Byard is one of the top safeties in the league. And I think that, like, if you just look at it from team's perspective, I mean, who would you rather play for, the Titans or the Eagles? Who you got a better chance to win with? If the money's the same, who you got a better chance to be with? So if we can land one of those two guys.
Yeah. Now, Go Sixer says, Gail, do you think CGJ should do a 1 year deal and bet on him? I think absolutely. In terms of the two teams that are locking in on him with Cincy, you know how Cincy don't pay their plays. Jesse Bates just left. But I think it's a great opportunity for him to come back and play with the Eagles.
But like, I don't like the idea of calling it a prove it deal, because isn't it what this past year was a prove it deal?
It's not about prove it. It's talk about his market and where he knows where he likes to play with.
He's never going to be a $14 million dude, bro. That top of the market is that kind of money, bro. Don't get thrown around. Like Jesse Bates got that because he's a prototypical size, speed, right? Like GJ is an undersized dude. Versatility is the name of his game. You got to find out where you fit. But in the end of the day, it also is about like who's investing in you, right? Like Philadelphia gave him more in regards to investment than New Orleans did. New Orleans kicked that man to the curb, bro. Philly got him in a system, put him somewhere where he could be a star. I think you come back here, and you're joining a team that's well established already. Cincinnati too, right? But like, I would be really careful chasing that money because a lot of times those teams that throw you that money usually aren't very good.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
it's a rumor that he loves playing here. He loves the guys that he's playing with. I mean, why would you go to Cincy and then go somewhere that you know that they're not going to pay you? But he gets the opportunity to come here, and he knows the system. But the other thing is, I don't know in terms of because there was some maturity things earlier
Yeah,
on with the Saints, and then it moved
Hey,
on
man.
over here, and then
yeah.
Sirianni had to speak with him about. He said that after he spoke to Sirianni, kind of like got him more focused. And then you see his social media usage, you're like, hey, what's going on, bro?
Dude's in his bag, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I look at that social media. Like he's an elite player, no doubt. But like I look at it social media wise, and I do see that kind of immaturity that's kind of there. And I'm not saying that's not something
I
that he
love him
can't
still.
grow as.
Like,
Of course you do,
yeah.
but you
I mean,
love him
what
because
is
he's great.
Is he
Jalen Rager
25
was doing the
years
same
old?
sort of nonsense on social media, but he wasn't playing great, and that's why it compounded people's dislike for him. Like
I
Jalen
just
Rager was doing all this talk and he had no play to back it up.
I
CJ
just want
Gardner
to like.
Johnson is doing all this talk, but he does have to play to back it up. I'm just saying that's what it is.
I
I
mean,
saw a
also,
recent
is he? What is he? 26, bro? Like he's also still a young dude, right? They're
25.
like 25
Yeah.
years old. So this expectation of like maturity. I think social media is a place where folks are allowed to be themselves, and you're seeing who he is, right? And so that's
Yeah.
always been my thing. People want CJ to be someone he's not. He's a chippy, talkative, loudmouth dude, bro. But he brings it every game. And so if you're willing to have that in your team and you have a culture that can embrace that and mold that, do it, right? But like don't expect him to evolve and to become somebody he's not. He's been the same dude since he came out of Florida.
No,
So
I get
he's gonna be
that,
who
but
he is.
the front office will always they'll look at that. And that's
And
just what it is.
ultimately, we know that our front office values the trenches more than they do defensive backs, point blank, period. So that's always where they'll lie, bro.
Bring them on back, man. Bring them on back.
Now
Let's
I
see
hate
here.
that.
Well, speaking of backs, speaking of defensive backs, well, first Fred says if they get CJ back, everything else, it'll be a free agent or the draft is gravy.
I mean, we're kind of lining up that way right now, aren't we, Gail? I mean, like as we head into this draft, like obviously CJ Gardner Johnson is still top of our list, but our needs are dwindling, man, and we are getting to a point in this draft where we're going to be drafting for best player available, which is how you should be drafting. But we got 2 first-round picks, and we can add to a team that the holes are being filled, man. Like the fact that we brought back Bradbury and Darius Slay means so much for our secondary, man. Like to have 2 clamps on the outside with our defensive line rotation, man. We still got some work to do at
I
linebacker,
tell
but
you,
we've seen how cheap the linebacker crop is, man. Like you
yeah.
can go out. I mean, what wasn't TJ Edwards a goddamn all-pro last year? Dude got 3 years, 19 million.
undrafted,
I'm saying.
undrafted too.
I'm excited about Reed Blankenship though. Like for
I
me,
am too.
that's sort of the wild card, man, because like he can do so much for you as a safety, um, fill in the box, play deep, right? Like make plays, defending people man to man. So yeah, I mean, again, even if you don't bring CJ back, Kevin Byard might be a better fit, right? If you're talking about a dude that's gonna play center field for you, like
Mm-hmm.
he was an all pro doing that for years in Tennessee. So the options are there. I think every day, every minute that goes by is a better chance that CJ comes back here. Because the Gale's point, right? Like, why would you want to go to the Bengals knowing they don't invest in their players and knowing that they're not going to give you what you're looking for, and you have to do all of this all over again?
Yeah.
Now the other news is, I saw Jennifer Slay kind of pushing the welcome mat out for the Mills. Actually, I guess Jalen's wife is best friends with Miss Slay. So, but also Jalen Mills, he also started his career at safety at LSU. He was a safety as well and a corner. So we'll see about that. I'm not sure exactly.
Doesn't really move the needle for me, man. I mean, I appreciate Jalen Mills for everything he did to be a part of that Super Bowl winning Eagles team. I root for him as he's around the league, but I just as we're looking at our options, like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kevin Byard, Jalen Mills. One of those is not like the others, man. That's just simply how I look at it.
Hold on, can I just throw this out here too, real quick? Avonte Maddox at free safety, bro. Like in his rookie year, man, he got a lot of good snaps in the deep third, and people are shooting it down. But like, I feel like it offsets his size, and it allows him to just use his intelligence in the middle of the field. And if that's the case, you can slide Greedy potentially to the slot, and you just have a lot of size on the field, bro. That like I'm excited about the options and just the position versatility for this team.
Adam brings up a question about. Got to be honest, still shocked. Sumalu is still available here on Friday, St. Patrick's Day. I mean, especially with Garofolo talking about the news of the Bears being interested. But again, we said on the last pod, they signed the guard out of from the Titans. So, but it's also it could be interesting from Sumalu's perspective in terms of where he wants to be. Like, if I'm looking across the playground, I see all my friends having a good time, and then I'm on some BS random team in some bum ass city, and I'm like, I'd rather be there for depending how his money's set up. If his money's all right, like I'll come back. I'll come back for a reasonable price. But again, you're talking about having, what's the line look like? Or we're gonna sit Cam again. I'm gonna put him, let him marinate for the second year, just have him around for depth. I don't know, but like again, very interesting point here. Daniel asks, Daniel from Swedentown, would you lock him up for a year with a lower hit or try to sign CJ long term?
I would definitely be trying to lock him in long term, bro, because I feel like you never know. If you get him on a 3-year deal at reasonable terms and he goes out and has a similar year to the year he had this year, bro, you got it for a steal, right? They're like doing the 1 year, 1 years. One of these years, he might really hit that home run and stay healthy, and you might not be able to lock him into that price that you could probably get him for right now. So, that's $7 million. I don't know that he goes for 7 like that. That kind of deal, he probably bulks at, but 3.
Yeah, Cozy Bryant.
It's kind of wild, man. The differential between
let's sign the papers.
Yeah, the differential between CJ, Kevin Byard, Jesse Bates, these guys are all top of their position in the sport. And then you just look at if you're a backup quarterback, bro, you could be making more money than fucking the top flight safety. Like it's kind of wild how the money gets spread out.
Bro, and if you're a running back, look at the running back market right now, dude.
Oh,
this is bananas. Like the amount of talent on the running back market is bananas, dog. And none of them, they're gonna all go for running. But Kareem Hunt is still a free agent, son. Like, are you kidding me?
Isn't Dalvin Cook available?
They took him off via trade. Fournette got cut. Like, there's a bunch of dudes out here, right?
And then you have the draft on top of that. So
and the draft has a gajillion of them boys in there, man. So
interesting when you talk about running backs, the way that our running back room is set up. It's like you look at Rashad Penny. He's got a 1-year contract, 1.3 mil, only 600 guaranteed. Boston Scott signed 1 year, $2 million, up to $2 million. Kenneth Gainwell, he's 2 years. 1.95. Trey Sermon, 2 years, 2.4 mil. Miles Sanders just signed with the Panthers for 4 years, $25 million deal.
Hey, boy, ain't no way.
Miles Sanders is a Panther again.
Boy, ain't no way.
Crazy how that shit works out.
Hey, congrats to him for securing that.
He was Penn State.
He was behind Saquon.
Now Brian says linebacker is highly questionable. Dean has a lot of promise, but that's it. Sean Bradley, Temple's own.
Sean Bradley was talking spicy on Twitter a couple of days ago too. So you know.
So while we're at it, let me talk about shout out to And a Cool Tone. He says, how do you feel about Mariota joining the squad? Love him as a backup, even though it's 7 to 8 years late. I think in terms of the offense and parts of the offense that he's able to run with use of his athleticism, you can do that with him. I know he's a little injury prone. That's not. I say that not a cool tone. But you saw what they did there, right?
Whoa,
Okay. I mean, the move. I wanted Brissett,
yeah.
but I think for a secondary move, some people are like, "Oh, who else? I mean, who else did you want to sign besides Nick Foles?" Because we all saw Nick Foles is out there in the streets, but
I mean, can we be realistic here? Like, if we're talking about the future and value and stuff here, Marcus Mariota brings a little bit more to the table than Nick at this point in the game, man.
Oh,
Come on. Nick's got 1 foot in the pool of retirement right now.
I mean, you said it.
He had 1 foot in the pool of retirement when we won the Super Bowl, man. He wasn't going to come back that year.
Now, Darren says, if CJ stays, now that Epps is gone, do we slide him into Epps' spot and let Blankenship play on the back end, or Reed into Epps' spot and leave CJ, GJ, where he's at?
I would much rather have CJ running that free safety like top third and having Blankenship patrol the box, just because he's more physical, man. Like better matchup potentially with tight ends and stuff like that, taking away stuff across the seam. You saw when CJ had a chance to play center field, like say like half of his interceptions came in that deep area, right? So like he has the wherewithal to be able to play in space like that
too, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Blankenship does too, but if I have to choose between them, I'm gonna choose the big ass dude to put in the box. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I just love his angles, man. Like I'm just not even that he's an undrafted free agent. The way that the way that he plays, he sees it and goes and gets it, and the angles are correct, and then he wraps up as well. And he doesn't.
About how many reps he had in college, bro. Right, the fact that he was undrafted still blows my mind. This was not a slouch at Middle Tennessee, right? Like this is a kid that was putting up numbers, bro, every year in a COVID year. And so yeah, I feel super fortunate to have him because, like you said, when you watch him on film, you see his read and recognition ability, and when he gets there, bro, he's gonna make you feel it, son.
Dude, I love having DBs that are not afraid to fucking lay the wood and guys that wrap up, man. He's a short tackler. Him in the box is a great thing, dude. And I feel like he's getting disrespected a lot by like a lot of the conversation that's going on. I just see a lot of, oh well, Blankenship can't. He was good as a fill-in, but he can't play. Like,
he could play 7.
He can play, man. Like he's a good ass player.
Mark brings up a good point. Bard was born in Philly.
Hey.
Go see the fam. Shout out East Coast Gridiron. What's up, y'all?
All right, I like Blankenship, but Cozy, that's a little bit over the line there, pal.
Yeah, like Dawkins doing the ball hawk like
we can't be putting them in the same sentence. Yeah.
You can't be saying that and then be wearing my jacket. And okay. Shout out to my guy Conrad. He says happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch Xavier almost get knocked off?
I've been watching the tournament. I actually, I'm not. That
was a great game.
I had USC going to the Final Four. That was my dark horse, and that was pretty disappointing to watch them get bounced in the first round because now my bracket's not looking too hot.
Dan chimes in. He says, "Yeah, you locals got a whole other dimension with Slay being back. Thanks to the Slay family for the Eagles community and Mrs. Slay at your tailgates and everything she brings." Yeah, that was the other thing. I saw a lot of guys getting roasted.
Oh yeah, they was getting cooked,
and the slaves were keeping receipts. And that's another thing. Like, bro, if you guys aren't out there and you're not actually behind the scenes, and you're seeing like the slave family actually do work in the community. Like we've been doing this a long time. I tweeted out because I thought they were gone, so I had to put a message out there. But you don't see other players' families coming out and helping out and in there serving the community like alongside with you. They don't got to be there. They do not have to be there. And shout out to the Katja Sue. She was out here. Andre Chachare's wife was out there serving the community. They don't got to be there, but they choose to do it. They choose to give jerseys. They choose to sign football for y'all. Yeah. Give tickets away to children that have never been to Eagles games. and you're gonna down people like that. I don't.
Dude, they were down on them when they were on the team, and that's the thing that really annoys me about this fan base is that I remember during the Jacksonville game earlier this year, Jen Slay said that she was going to come down to the tailgate, and then it ended up just being an absolute torrential downpour. And I'm sitting there like, man, she's the wife of a pro athlete. She has zero obligation to be here. And then there's all these people that are giving her a hard time on Twitter, talking about, oh, well, you said you were going to come down to the lots and tailgate and blah, blah, blah. Dude, it was raining. Like,
I literally told her, like, do not show up because it's not worth it.
It's gross out. Like,
that was the worst tailgating experience of my life. That game. And we tailgate
me and Alex
regularly.
threw it down that day. I'm not going to lie. Me and Alex.
You guys did. You guys held it down in the pouring rain, dude. That was the worst day ever. Mark says, Howie added a former Heisman Trophy winner to the roster. As an Oregon Duck fan, I think Mark is in his feels. I feel like he might be wearing his Mariota jersey.
Oh, big time. I know he is.
Now, Sean asks, were you picking with the 10th pick, cornerback or edge rusher?
Depends on how it plays out, to be honest with you, because, like, I mean, there's a handful of guys that I like at 10, but there's a good chance that none of them will be there. And if we get to the board, and, like, first of all, I think that, I'm sorry, Mal, I think Witherspoon's off the table now. With our cornerback situation the way it is, I just don't see a 10th overall cornerback going. So I think as long as I think it's going to be in the trenches.
I don't give a shit.
I think this pick is going to be in the trenches. Whether it's going to be a tackle that could play guard this year and then eventually swing out the Lane Johnson spot, or edge or interior defensive lineman. But if none of those guys are there, I'm honestly not against moving back a little bit into the teens and then acquiring some more draft picks in the middle of the draft.
That would be my thought, bro, is to move back just because there's that huge
back 15,
gap.
Get Cansey.
Yeah. Not even Cansey, bro. Nolan Smith, son, on this defense could be phenomenal. Just because he could literally just go get the quarterback, bro.
You know who Nolan Smith is to me in this draft too? He's DK Metcalf. You remember in the DK Metcalf draft, he just balled out at the combine, and everybody overthought it and said, "This guy, all he does is he can just run the go route. He has no route tree." Dude was a freak, and he proved it at the combine. And I think that is what Nolan Smith is this draft. I think that he is a guy that is kind of getting overlooked, but he showed physically that he is an elite athlete, and I agree with you, Mal. I would not be mad at all with him there.
The part is that he's a tweener, right? Like I feel like people can't nail down what is he, right? Is he a 3-4 outside linebacker? Is he somebody who put his hand in the ground, wide 9 defensive end? For me, I just feel like I saw how they implemented Hassan Reddick. Just let him go get it, right? Like if you put Nolan Smith, Hassan Reddick, and Brandon Graham on the same side of a formation, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Like, who you stopping?
Yeah.
Stunts, all types of things are available to you. So I think that, like, move back and then take a home run swing at somebody that could really bring, like, a phenomenal dimension to your team. But, yeah, I think I agree with you, bro. Probably somewhere in the trenches.
Like, as much as I love Witherspoon. I wouldn't mind Gonzalez.
Dude, bro.
It's at the end of the day, because I'm trying to look at how they do things and the way that what they're doing right now. It's open for a edge rusher or sliding in the D tackle to rotate with the guys. Like in the whole
perfect.
Some people are like, can't see, like he's undersized. I don't think he could be utilized. I think they will find a way to use a guy like Cansey, but they're not. I'm checking Miles Murphy, and Miles Murphy was all right, but I just didn't see the top 10 get off. Like I was like,
you said the same thing about Brian Breesy too.
And then Brian Breesy, he's also coming off a torn ACL as well. Yeah. So this year's he didn't start coming on to the end of the year, but he tore his ACL last year. Again, I'm talking top 10, so I'm feeling like, all right, I'm not seeing top 10 right now. So that whole idea of moving back, there's some players there, like even Brian Branch.
We go from what
we talk about safety.
The third round to the 7th.
Imagine adding Brian Branch in this mix.
I just don't like if I'm looking at how the Eagles draft, I don't think they value defensive.
Right.
Like I don't think it happens.
I would like it, because then if we talk about like we talked about last podcast about having we cannot redshirt first round and second round picks
not a top 15 pick either, man.
All right, then with that being said, now think about what is on the board right now.
And so
what position is open for a start?
Bro, and so that's what I was thinking. Sneaky as hell, bro. Wide receiver, son. Right? And like people keep talking about how but people talk about how I think Jalen Hyatt is going to surprise the shit out of people. Like I think he is going to go exponentially higher than folks are thinking. Because the fact that like he showed what a game breaker he could be at Tennessee and then was able to back it up, right? Like on the track, show that he has absolutely game breaking speed. But my question is Quentin Johnson. Because like for me at TCU, he wasn't necessarily as consistent as you would want him to like be. But bro, when he touches the ball, son, he could take it from anywhere. And so like that's the sort of stuff that I look for, right? That like game breakers, yo. Who are the people? Blue chips, right? Like they talk about it all the time. That top 10, that's got to be money, bro. Or again, move back, collect some picks, and maybe take a swing at somebody that needs a little bit of development, but like you got a plan for them.
Now East Coast Gridiron says CJ should be put on a full year guaranteed deal, and then if he balls out again, you sign him long term next year. It's less risky. You help your team out, and the salary cap will thank you. I'm cool with that. Like I don't need a lot. Like if my thing is if a team really likes you, they're going to make a way to get you on this team. They'll find a way. So they've either felt a certain way about something. Could it be? I've heard some other things, but I'm not going to say that on here. They just might feel a certain way because, like, all right, the Saints didn't give him a contract. The Eagles are giving him a 1 year or whatever the situation is. There's something going on, so we'll see.
I think we should acknowledge too, like Howie Roseman's foresight and how this whole situation will play out too. I mean, he saw that the cornerbacks would be more valuable on the market than the safeties, which is obvious. But at the same time, like you lock down both corners, and now you are not your arm isn't getting twisted with the safety position. There's a lot of different directions you can go, and now with CJ's value dropping, like Howie's just sitting there like, yo. Waiting for the phone to ring. Anytime you're ready to sign those papers, CJ, let me know.
And then you make a good point there, bro, because like CJ kind of fucked himself about electing to be a safety, right? That like when you look at the safeties getting that kind of bread, you talking Jesse Bates was like what 16, 14. Everybody else is signing for 7. Bro, these corners, fucking Bradbury just got what 10?
Yeah,
right. They're like you look at these cornerbacks, they making what the safeties are. And the top of this cornerback market is much better. So I think, he potentially gambled on the wrong thing. And at this point, it's costing him.
Yeah. How about we didn't really mention about Slay. Actually, he got extended. Yeah. So he got his, again, when we talked about business people, when last time we had this episode, we talked about Slay, his money was not guaranteed. Today, is $23 million is guaranteed. So while I still can't. I'm just gonna get off. I'm gonna get off that stuff because I literally had a lot of conversations about that. It's like I want get your money guaranteed, man.
Okay, yeah.
It's just that's what it is. Just get that's what he had to do. So the fact that we get him for another year, he's not selfish. They extended him. We're able to actually sign Chauncey.
I want to ask Mal because me and him were. I saw his tweet yesterday that I commented on. We were talking about Jason Kelce and his whole contract, and if we're not able to sign CJ, do we blame Kelce in this whole situation for not taking a team-friendly deal? Let me ask you, Fletcher Cox at $10 million was that?
I hate it, bro.
Yeah,
I dislike it. I dislike the move just because, and I said this on Twitter too. Like, if I don't know that Fletcher Cox, and I wish Tank was here to answer this question potentially, but is Fletch that much of a leader in that defensive line group Is he the dude that's teaching technique? Is he the one that's taking these young dudes under the wing and like running them through how to be a professional? Because if he isn't, I don't see the point, right? Because like on field play has decreased over the past several years, and so if there was a market for him to go elsewhere, like that's an opportunity for him to prove that like Philly, it was just a bad year or two, right? But like to bring him back at 10 mil just seems so
But I
steep
mean,
for a
but if
dude
you
that
look at
isn't going to give you that, bro.
the DT market was bananas. These guys are getting money. I talked to Tank before the pod, and he actually liked the move. I just think from integrity of the defense, you got a vet back here that's been there, done that. You know, I still want to get another piece to like evolve and develop. You know, we'll see who their options are.
I feel
in the
like
draft.
Dominic and Sue was giving us better reps down the stretch than Fletcher Cox was.
What's
dude.
your guys' thoughts
Fletcher
on
also had 7
Milton
sacks as well.
Williams? I feel like Milton Williams like gets forgotten
This
about on
is,
this roster.
I think
this
he's
gotta
got
be
opportunity.
Mills' year this year, bro.
He's got
This got to
opportunity.
be the one.
Marlon. I mean, these are all guys. I mean, I'm just saying names at this point, but
Marlon played. Marlon played well for where he was at.
Yeah, he
I
ended
want
up getting
Marlon's
injured.
brother, bro.
I don't even think he got injured. I think he took the mystery injury, and they're like, "All right, well, we've seen what you've done, but we'd like some more run support. We'll get these guys for cheap. We'll see you next year."
Nah, Milton put some good snaps on tape. You know, it's just he got caught up in to what Gail is saying, right? That like they went veterans first because they saw pretty early on like this team was special. I think this year a lot of these young boys got to play because we just aren't going to be able to retain a bunch of people and pay a bunch of money down the stretch. For me, Howie, if he hits a home run in this draft, bro, sets this team up for the future, right? That like if he comes out of this draft with players that can come in year one and contribute, right? Plus you got Cam Jurgens potentially kicking a right guard. Like the future, right, man? Like this is a good football team. Just curious to see how he facilitates this draft because that's going to answer a lot of questions.
Now, let me ask you guys, like, if we're just thinking long term here, say we end up drafting interior defensive line at 10 in the teens, somewhere high where they should be expected to start. And we really start to fill out the defensive line rotation the same way we did last year. If Fletch has a good start to the season at a significantly less contract than what a lot of DTs are making, are you considering moving him at the deadline?
Try flip him.
Just saying.
I think it depends on what folks is offering you. If you get something that's worthwhile, maybe. But also, if he's playing well, then you probably don't want to break that rotation up.
Yeah. Also, the vibe. I mean, as much as I think what he means to the players in the locker room, I think it's like I said the other day, like seeing Graham sign, and I think Cox seeing Graham sign and being thinking like, all right, I'm going to go next season, play somewhere, and I have my ace to the left side of me. I was like, he wants to be here. And we talked about the culture and everything. He's part of this culture in the locker room. But at the end of the day, I think the Eagles right now, they're valuing the vets in the locker room, whether it's Kelsey, whether it's Graham, whether it's bringing Cox back. They're valuing their veterans right now in terms of leading them forward. Jordan Davis development is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in what Jordan Davis actually is.
I mean, I feel like Jordan Davis's stats were somewhat skewed this year because if you were to just look at the stats, you'd say that a little bit underwhelming, but you see him out there on the field and like you see the actual disruption that he brings to each play, man. Like he is a guy that demands a double team. That's huge. So to have him out there and year 2 for him, I think he's going to pop off.
Christopher says, I think we have a few hidden gems that never got the chance, but we'll be able to do so this season as Dean Davis and so on. Sometimes you got to hand over the keys. I don't have a 16-year-old, but I could imagine your father giving you the keys or giving Evan the keys to the car. I'd be a little concerned. When did you guys start driving at 16, or you were a late bloomer?
Driving at 12, bro. My mom had me out here driving stick shifts in Georgia at 12, B.
Georgia. Okay.
The back rules, baby.
Now, I saw this as well. I saw, he's a guy that I've wanted for a long time. His UCLA running back, linebacker days. Went to the Jags. His career has been up and down. Then he ended up going to the Steelers. He says, hope the Eagles, Sean says, I hope the Eagles could take a look at Miles Jack that was released by Pittsburgh. Everyone talks about Bobby Wagner.
Yo.
But what do you guys feel about Miles Jack?
I mean, he's a liability in coverage. So I think that's a reason why he's bounced around, right? That, like, second round pedigree, a dude that, like you said, back to his college days was a baller, but never really put it all together. But I think it sort of fits with how he's doing, right? Rashad Penny, Greedy Williams, like taking shots on dudes that are still relatively young, cheap, have upside, right? And if all else fails and they don't play well, shit, no skin, you could cut them, trade them, whatever. So I would love to see Bobby Wagner. I think Bobby Wagner would be a great. I really wanted Levante David, but he re-signed with the Bucks. But I think Bobby Wagner would be great.
I mean,
yeah, good money, bro.
You see, Devin Bush ended up walking too. I mean, that was one that I thought. Devin Bush was kind of going to be.
Who did you get picked up by? No one yet.
No, he did get picked up. I know that I just
saw
know he got cut by Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Kasim says, do you think Wagner would be a reach or bring Mills back and put him in safety? I just think Wagner. I think
Wagner
fills a good Devin Bush.
Okay.
I think Wagner. I mean, he still played some good ball last year too, bro.
I mean, Mills is just he's a vet.
But Mills at this point is just a guy, bro.
That,
like he's not gonna add an element. Like, I'd rather take a shot on a fourth rounder or some shit, that maybe you bring him in and give him a chance, because we know what Mills is. You could sign him in damn August probably. So at this point, I don't know.
Gibbs is campaigning for
Deion Henley, man. This kid right here is quick, fast, and so
so is Davion Taylor.
He still hasn't always the go of like reading offenses and wrapping up ball carriers consistently, but that's a fast human being, bro.
Todd says Reed and All-American Blankenship. Coming up with nicknames: Ed Reed, Blankenship. Reed, All-American Blankenship.
Ed Reed.
Adrian says late to the party, but how do you guys see the possibility of bringing in Bobby? I just think they don't want to pay that money.
Think it happens. Yeah, I don't think it happens.
I don't think they want to pay them. I would love it.
Like
considering what linebacker money is right now, though, I don't.
Levante just got 7. Levante just got 7. I guess Wagner would get what?
5.
5
and some change.
Well, is that too steep for a Hall of Fame linebacker?
Levante was coming off a torn ACL, a torn Achilles. He put up a good year, and then he got paid. I think. What did Wagner make last year?
I think he made like 5.
Did he?
I'm looking right now.
Interesting. Yeah. Any news that popped up? You guys monitor the timeline? Anything?
Everybody's just
anybody in the comments section. If you see some news pop, let us know.
Chris said, leave Mills where he's at. Sean says, I'm seeing a lot of Eagle fans who want Witherspoon at 10. The signing Bradford and Slay change the need at cornerback, or you get a player like that to groom for the future. Now, if
he's the best player available, you take him, bro.
I mean, we also have to understand, when we brought in Lido and Sheldon, who were in front of them. They were groomed to be the next, and that's the last time the Eagles drafted a corner in the first round. That was, I believe, 2002. So that was a first rounder that sat the bench and then came in and became Lido. So obviously, I like Witherspoon's vibe, dude.
He's on come get you,
very.
He's gonna come get you, and he can cover too, right? I'm talking before about defensive backs that can tackle. I feel like that's something I covet in a defensive back because the NFL is all about space, right? Like this run after catch stuff is a possibility because you have so many cornerbacks that don't commit to the run. So when you get a dude like Devon Witherspoon, that is probably one of the 10 better players in this draft, if he falls, like that's good positional value. He gets a chance to sit for a year, and come out like Bradbury and Slade. We're gonna have to move on within the next year or two anyway. So
But
if he's a
are you
player,
spending our highest pick on a guy that is going to be redshirted year one? I guess what we were talking about
bro,
earlier.
I think that it's dangerous when you start picking people for positions that you think could play
But
right
that's what
away.
you're doing. You're picking for position.
I'm picking if I said he's one of the best 10, if he's there and he's at the top of your board, you don't walk away from him because you got Bradbury and Slay. If you got a player that's not as good as him, but you taking him because he'll play right away, that's just not good strategy, bro. I don't think that they take a cornerback because the Eagles just don't value it. But like, I don't think that that's good strategy either.
The funny thing is, like, again, I had a conversation with my homie. Shout out to my boy Omar, big Giants fan, but like we're just talking draft like we always do every year. He's like he's talking about our Eagles. He's like, then you guys are sitting at 10. It got heated. It was a good 2 hours of arguing. He's like, you're sitting at 10. You talk about positional value to me. But then you got one of the best players on the board in Bijan. You can tell me the Eagles are gonna pass up on Bijan?
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. At 10, yeah.
Like, do you know what the Eagles do?
At 30.
Yeah. Then I go back and if I'm because then I tell him, I said I would love Bijan on the Eagles. That would be amazing. It would be fun to watch. He's like, no, you're confusing me. I was like, I'm just saying it'd be fun to watch. I'm just saying the Eagles aren't gonna probably do that. But imagine, I'm gonna pose this question to you. Imagine, because we're going about like on their board. Where do you think the Eagles have Bijan at? Just on their board.
That's a good question.
As a top,
I'm kind of a Bijan stan. You don't draft them high. Like I don't. That's why I'm not trying to get too attached. But dude, like I really do think he's one of the top running back prospects that's coming to the league in a very good football player, man. And I just
we see. I'm trying to like.
So say you trade out of 10, right? Go to like 15, 17. Would you be open to Bijan right there? I think Bijan
acquire some mid-round picks. I think I might be.
I think 20 and on is Bijan territory, bro. You got the Bills that were like 25, 26. Bijan on the Bills would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles would think about it at 30 if he fell that far, just because on the Eagles he'd be phenomenal. So yeah, I'd be curious.
All the way to 30 though, man.
I don't think he makes it to the end, bro.
Right, because this is a conversation probably inside the Eagles front office. Just like, okay, what is your value on?
What if you take a pick at 10 and then you trade up from 30?
I'll rather trade.
I don't think he makes it.
It depends on what you give 30. Up. Yeah, nah, bro.
I think he's probably going to go anywhere from
up to like 17 and on, bro. I think you could validate taking Bijan because, like you said, he's going to be one of the best players on the board at that point. Like most of the top dudes will be gone. So at that point, hell yeah.
Because then I'm going back to like our conversation of like we want to start or like you're not going to force it, right? You're not going to force it, but he would be the star. Yeah, he would be the star.
Hell yeah.
So you talk about our offensive,
and you get him for 5 years, right, instead of 4. So
yeah,
with that 5th year of control, and it's not going to be as steep of a price because it's later on in the draft.
So starting positions on this Eagles unit that are open. Maybe right guard, running back,
linebacker,
okay. Wide receiver 3.
Yeah, slot receiver,
linebacker,
and maybe safety now too.
Defensive tackle. I'm not sure if you said that. Yeah.
D tackle. Yeah. Now
Jordan Davis should be in there as a starter.
I mean,
I just think about how we rotate our defensive line, though. Think about how we rotated our defensive line last year. Like, yeah, there were starters, but there was everyone got a healthy amount of snaps, man. They kept those guys fresh all year long. So while he might not be in there for the first play or the first series, I mean, like he will still be in there plenty throughout the game if you end up taking a defensive lineman at 10 or in the teens.
Yeah, now shout out to Joshua. He says trade the number 10 pick unless the stud D line is available. And when I think stud D line, that would be Jalen Carter.
This scares me with when you think about them getting rid of Zeke and they franchise tag Tony Pollard, so he's not locked down for years to come. He's only got 1 year. Bijan's a pretty good fit for the Cowboys, man.
Doesn't he
I
have
would
to
hate
come
to
out of
watch
state?
that happen.
I wouldn't like to see that either. I didn't like when Zeke went to the Cowboys
Not
either.
at all.
I was kind of tight.
I mean, that would be a pretty good Zeke replacement.
Yo, I like Zeke all the way.
And they obviously value that position that high. They took Zeke at what, 4?
Yeah, dumb.
So,
because then I was like, I like Zeke all the way up until the time he got drafted.
Yeah,
I was like, it's over.
much.
I was like, you're dead to me. So if Bijan, my thing is like, there's been these other conversations of Zeke. Would you bring Zeke in? Yeah, I'm not doing that either.
No, not for the price he's gonna be, and then on top of that, like, I mean, dude, he's getting long in the tooth. It's like DeMarco Murray all over again. Like DeMarco Murray was a great running back for the Dallas Cowboys, but they beat the brakes off him, man. They're giving him the ball 500 times in a year, and then we take him expecting the same type of value, and like the dude was just washed at that point. So I think it would be the same exact thing if you went the Zeke route. I think that his best years are behind him.
Also with DeMarco, that was just a bad scheme fit, bro. Like they were asking him to run outside zones. Like that wasn't his game, man.
Yeah.
Now the Chiefs are signing former Bucks safety Mike Edwards. So another safety off the board, not named.
Did they say how much he went for?
Yeah, they didn't say the money yet. Oh, actually, so safety Mike Edwards has agreed to a 1-year deal, $5 million with the Chiefs.
That boy CJ,
out here.
And Mike Edwards had one of his best seasons.
Yep.
So
shit, Jordan Poyer went for 7, bro. He's an all-pro safety, son.
So that's where CJ's at, 7.
I think he's even less, honestly. He might be at 6.5.
I'm trying to boost his
I
stock.
give him 8, bro. Go ahead, take this little 8.5, bro.
Trying to boost his stock a little something.
Just a little 8.5.
I'm giving CJ $7 million, and then I'm calling Kia up, give him an upgrade vehicle with the security system on lock. What were you saying?
I forget where I was gonna go, dude. I was up until 6 o'clock in the morning last night doing fucking mock drafts. My brain is fried right now.
Are you serious?
I wish I was joking.
You're crazy.
I told Gail, let's do a mock. He talking about he don't want to do mock drafts. Yo, he's scared.
We could do a mock draft Saturday.
You scared, bro? You scared of mocking?
We'll see. It'll be interesting, man.
I mean, it's impossible to predict, right? That, like, first off, I don't even know that the Eagles pick at 10. So any mock that you projecting for pick number 10 most likely isn't going to happen unless Jalen slips, right? Like something wild on draft day is going to have to happen for I feel like Howie to stay at 10.
And as far as Jalen Carter is concerned, I've seen a few people that were talking about his pro day, and you don't want, dude. Watch the tape, man. I mean, like he had a shit pro day, and it wasn't good. But it's also on the heels of dude is dealing with a lot of shit in his life right now.
Yeah,
like he's got a lot going on.
He's only doing community service.
A year probation, and I think 80 hours of community service. I don't know what the stipulations are of probation.
Are we have any concerns here?
No.
I'll take Jalen Carter all day, bro.
I mean, that shit sucks that they was drag racing, but that shit.
That was unfortunate, but it's not one of those things where it's not like he was heinous in the situation. It's not like he
didn't clip him or some shit, or like you know what I mean, road rage. And
there was a horrific thing that happened. He was a young kid that was involved with a bright future, and he made a mistake by lying to law enforcement and fleeing the scene, and that was a poor decision. But at the same time, he was just trying to protect his future, man. And I think like if you're put in that chaotic of a situation, you really don't know how you would react until you were in it. So
Daniel
Yeah, nah,
from
that
Sweetentown says,
that
Evan,
Pro Day was tough.
you can do your trade down for Elijah Moore and get him out. Get him at what, 16?
That's what I trade. I did put a mock draft up where I traded back to 13 with Washington, and then I also traded back to 16, acquired a bunch of mid-round picks, and my trade back to 16 included acquiring Elijah Moore.
And so you do that and take Bijan at 16, like
offensive set, bro.
the city goes nuts, bro.
Offensive set.
The city goes bananas, bro.
Yo, just Elijah Moore wants out of fucking New York. You think about you got Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and Elijah Moore in the slot.
And we did that. We did the simple math, guys. We did the simple. If you move on from Quez, you save
$600,000.
2.7. There's only $40,000 cap hit, dead cap on the dead cap. So Elijah Moore is 2.4 this year, and then 2.8 next year. And he is AJ Brown's best friend, just as close as Jalen Hurts.
Do you think there would be some friend beef going on there?
You're like, yo, man, you ain't hanging out with me tonight, man. Trying to get me a cheesesteak, bro.
Elijah Moore would be nice,
bro.
I liked it, but I also like the idea of what Mal said earlier with a guy like Quentin Johnson. Like,
Baby.
Bro, his hands, man.
A big body wide receiver.
I'm just saying his hands is like.
I mean, AJ Brown was leading the league in drops, my G. Like, when you got big dudes that make plays, like, they gonna drop the rock, son.
Well, I was talking to my TCU guys that love TCU, and they love them, but you know.
Do you guys ever get soured by a school because of a player that burned you in the past, a la a Jalen Reagor coming from TCU as a wide receiver? Because I'll tell you what, like,
not really.
I was hesitant about Washington cornerbacks after Sidney Jones as well.
Nah, I mean, I like to take it individually, bro. Like, you know, just because you went to the same school don't mean you're gonna be the same player. That's why when everybody was talking shit on Drake London, I'm like, Drake London's gonna be a very good football player. Don't let the USC bias confuse you. Yeah. Like, he's gonna be a baller, bro. Came out hooping first year, killing them. So I don't really get too much in the bias.
This is for Johnson from a TCU fan. Diehard. Shouts Kyler, friend of the show. Says, man, he's a solid first round wide receiver, arguably the best in this class. He's a big body with lots of yak potential. He's good at making people miss. He's fast, especially for big 6'4" frame. It's almost like a running back after he gets the ball in his hands. He can block, just not the best at it. And his route tree isn't all that. He wasn't asked to run many routes at TCU. His route tree needs expansion, and his route running needs work. This is from a
TCU fan.
Diehard, watches and goes to TCU games. So
can't you say that about 95% of college wide receivers coming into the NFL, bro? There are very few people like Devontae Smith with a well-refined route tree. Like, most of these schools aren't asking these kids to run the full tree, bro. They're gonna make you run the routes that are gonna win them football games. And I feel like in this offense, right, that quick strike mentality, a dude like him will make such a difference, because you again you put somebody like Quentin Johnson with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. But come on, bro. Come on now.
Shout out to D Morgan. He says Chauncey played himself.
Yeah, he did.
Damn, Dan.
He did, bro.
Damn, Dan.
What do y'all think of Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I like him. I just think that, like, I personally wouldn't go wide receiver at 10, and I think that he's going to be one of the top wide receivers off the board, personally.
Shout out.
I just think that he's going to go too high for what we'd want. Dude, I'm telling you, like, I've been saying this for weeks. I think Zay Flowers ends up being the best wide receiver out of this draft. That's my personal flavor there. But if Zay Flowers was sitting there at 30, I will be frothing at the mouth, man.
I think I'd love to get those guys in like the second round, but not the first.
30?
And you know what?
30?
Or like 30. You at the tail end of the first round, I'll be open to a lot of those dudes, man.
Maybe. Shout out to Primo. He's out here.
Primo,
I think he's working. He says
he's
just
getting a
Get a
tattoo, bro.
tattoo.
tattoo. He's getting a tattoo.
Fucking Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he got it.
He said.
Is he? He says, just think about it. We were known for not valuing a couple of positions the last couple of years, and Howie has had a change of heart. Who's to say his heart is not beating a slight different this year? Bijan at 10 may happen. Oh, look at Prime.
When was the last time? Like, I get that, but like, when was the last time we took a running back in the first round? Like, have we ever done that? I can't think.
I don't know if we've ever done it.
It's been a long time.
I don't know, modern era and shit.
Well, my thing is, people said we were higher on McCaffrey. Some people said that we liked Cook, but we were sitting at the second round and we didn't go up and get him, which we should have.
I know you're.
Oh, you love fucking Cook. But I mean Daniel Jeremiah, who actually worked under Howie at one point in his career, said it's his highest rated back since Saquon.
I saw someone comparing Bijan Robinson to, and I get that this is like comparisons are one of those things you got to take with a grain of salt because that they're just going off of, comparing measurables and stuff like that. But this Bijan had very comparable measurables to LaDainian Tomlinson. I would like.
I mean, from a body type
LT
standpoint,
right now,
they're not even that different, bro. Right? They're like, Bijan's a special dude.
How would you not want that type of player on your team? Like, that's the part I don't get. That's a generational player. I get, like, we don't bet, like, bro. Like, we're talking about a guy that will be a top 3 running back in the league. How do you not value that?
Yeah. We'll see, man, because I was sitting there, like, just talking about it. But I also, then this was when I'm going back to my argument with my homie Omar about positional value and what have you, and then I also said, okay, the guy could be amazing, but then you don't draft a running back when your team is not set up for said running back. Like if you don't have the offensive line, you don't have the court. Like I feel like
we've got.
I felt like Saquon, as much as I love Saquon coming out of the draft, I said he's going to die in New York. By the time he's ready and the team is ready to like continue to compete, they're going to use him up. And do you think they used him up?
I think that Saquon is on the back end of his career now because of that's the shortest lived position in the NFL. But my point is, we do have that offensive line you're looking for, and we also have, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, the greatest positional coach in Eagles history, in Jeff Stoutland, as our run game coordinator and in charge of our offensive line. That is also has Hall of Famers on it. So to say that we're not set up to bring in a guy like Bijan, we are.
And what do they say that in Penn State? We are.
We are.
Does they say?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Who cares?
Man. Shout out to D Moore. He said live mock
would
be
up,
fire.
Bro?
Live mock would be fire.
Gail out here.
Go ahead, F.
BSing, bro.
We're at the hour mark already.
Gail BSing, bro.
We're all out here working hard right now.
Bro.
I'm actually not sure if I could do it on this computer because I got
working hard right now.
Yeah, what you got on there?
I think shout out to Kasim. Everyone's all about Carter, even though
out to Carter, without a doubt, my boy.
Carter's there at 10. There's no excuse, man.
Unless the Eagles found out something. Unless they found out something about him digging into his background that like nobody else knows or some shit, right? Like if he's at 10, let's go, bro.
Mark
defensive lineman.
Mark with a solid comment. If you look at the Super Bowl, a stud running back may have made a big difference in the outcome for the Eagles. Saying.
Rashad Penny would have made the difference for us versus Miles, right? They're like if you put a healthy Rashad Penny in that game, I don't know that we lose, bro. Miles Sanders running east-west killed us, killed the offensive momentum. And so again, you got Kareem Hunt out here still. I don't know that you have to necessarily take Bijan and like he'll be the person that turns everything around for you. You know, I think he'd be a great cog in the wheel, but all of this is going to be based off of how well Jalen continues to play for us. So
But
beef
if
up
you
the
bring in a
lines.
Kareem Hunt, what is
bro.
that? Is that a 1-year deal?
Yeah, I'm
Or-
giving him a
1 year deal.
Draw.
Okay,
1 year,
so
$5 million.
Bijan, we just talked about you take him in the first round. That's 5 years. You got him locked down at a cheap price.
Yeah, that shit ain't gonna be
It's
so
not
cheap.
cheap.
Hey,
That's
man,
not cheap, son.
if he's going,
That's
Well, I mean,
almost
if
if
he's
he
going
went
in
at
the
10,
teens to the
if he
20s,
went at 10, it's the same price over 5 years.
but
Because
I don't
that's
think he's going
10.
to go at 10.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't. If he went at 16, it's going to only be but a fraction less. It's not going to be a huge difference. We're not getting Bijan at $800,000 a year over 5 years.
No. Not that I would expect we would. I'm just saying that it's not going to be top 10 money, and it's not going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at how we can stretch it out as long as possible.
Now, 843 Philly fan on YouTube says we're still waiting for GJ news. Like, what is taking so long? Obviously, his value dropped, so why the wait? You probably have to ask Chauncey because he's probably hoping that his value increases somewhere else.
He's special, bro.
I mean, if you're gonna go out there and try and get your value, I totally agree. Do what you have to do.
Yeah.
If you gotta wait, you gotta wait.
Yeah.
But if you get your value, but the Eagles can wait too.
Yeah, facts.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Another thing, we talk about how the other safeties are being signed around the league for less money and how that is creating leverage against Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. But I got to tell you, having Reed Blankenship ball out as an undrafted free agent, man, that also hurt his leverage as well, man.
Yeah, that's
having
what I
that
was
in your back
saying earlier,
pocket,
bro.
having it in your back, if we didn't have him versus having him, that creates more leverage in our situation.
Yo, him getting hurt undermine his whole plan here. Because like I said earlier, when Reed Blankenship came in and played well, it wasn't a huge drop off, right? That like when CJ came back,
You
it
blame
helped
it on
him
his kidney,
bolster the
dog?
defense. No, I'm not blaming his
No, I'm
kidney,
just
but
kidding.
what I'm saying is that
It's a joke.
if you're gonna make this gamble, bro, you gotta make it count. Like, and it didn't. And to what I was saying, and what Eva's saying, that Reed Blankenship, you lost leverage, dude. Like, you really don't have leverage here any longer. And so, I don't know how much you hold out for the best case scenario, or you come back for the 1 year, prove it, and then try this all over again. But like at this point, man, you might not even get the money you thought you was gonna get in the first place.
Yeah.
Now D-Borg says Jaden Reed or Parker Washington would be nice as hell. Jaden Reed at Michigan State balled out at the Senior Bowl. He's a nice little find. Like I don't think my problem is I was like, ooh, Senior Bowl, he's doing his thing. Maybe he could be a third rounder. Maybe could go back in the second.
Who's that?
Jaden
And those
Reed.
the Spartan defensive backs, well coached group, bro. Like usually technically disciplined dudes. So Mel Tucker gonna coach them up.
But shout out to Philly Sports Trips out here. If you guys are looking to book a trip, Eagles trips happened all season last year. They're gonna happen again all season this year. Gonna be a trip to LA. Get your West Side on.
West Side.
There's going to be a lot of trips. So shout out to Philly Sports Trips. Check them out at phillysportstrips.com. Not just football trips. So you got baseball. You got, what else?
Doing everything, bro.
They're doing soccer.
Bro.
They got everything.
If you want it, he got you.
They're doing baseball trips. You guys ready for baseball season?
Oh, yeah. I got to be honest. I think that the fans aren't talking enough about the Trey Turner signing, man. I mean, that's huge. Getting Trey Turner on.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I don't.
You tell me
anymore. So.
Dude,
you tell me.
He's like a top 10 player in the MLB, man. I mean, he's arguably better than Bryce Harper, and we just brought him onto the team.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. Teach me.
I just did.
I want to hear more.
He's on the Bryce Harper tier. We just added him into the lineup. That's massive.
Are you gonna buy a Trey Turner jersey?
Bro, you know me. Frugal gang.
You can't be that great then. You have a Bryce jersey, don't you?
Gang.
I don't have any Phillies jerseys.
Smart.
If anyone wants to donate a Philly jersey to Ev, let him know. Cozy says, Mark, you're right. We need a running back with vision. Sanders had speed, but his vision was horrendous.
Horrendous.
Oh. Will Mallon
Terrible.
from the top rope, he says, Bijan is from Tucson, where I live. His grandpop is a local ref in the multi-sports and also a sideline official for the Pac-12. He's well known around these parts. I told him several weeks ago we need Bijan playing in Philly. He smiled ear to ear and said that's where I want him to. Wow. His granddad said that.
Here, man.
Wow.
Oh, are we some insider information there? Shout out to Romy Rome. Trey Turner has consistently been the best shortstop in Major League Baseball. Phenomenal player.
Thanks for the backup room.
Are you guys gonna make me get MLB for PS5?
Joe, that's a great game, bro. That's fun.
You have it?
I have the last year's. I haven't gotten the new one yet.
Mal?
I got I think the one from 2 years ago.
It's funny we have PS5s we've never played together.
Yeah. Who else? I'm about to say, Evan ain't PS5 game, bro. He's still on that little janky ass Xbox.
Pete Nathan always with the opposite pick. He says maybe the 30th. Yeah, I had shout out to my homie. He hit me up in the chat in the DMs talking about Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
He's usually known as the second guy. Shout out to my guy Ronald James. He said, what do you think of Jahmyr Gibbs? Jahmyr Gibbs, he's got juice. He floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee. Bro, he hits creases like he got like that Chris. What's his name from the Titans?
Running back. Chris
Henry. Chris Johnson.
No. Chris Johnson. Yeah.
Chris Johnson, you remember when Chris Johnson was going off, and he would just 1 foot in the ground take off, and no one could catch him. Yeah, he's got that speed, but he's very he's not the biggest back.
That was my thing. Looking at him in the combine, like when you looked at Bijan is rocked up, bro, right? But when you looked at Gibbs, like Gibbs is not his body type is more of like a slot receiver. And so I think you got to get really like creative about how you implement him if you wanted to use him as a running back. I like Roschon Johnson though from the Texans that was splitting time with Bijan. Like that's a big boy, man. Gets physical. Your boy Zach from UCLA. I was watching a couple more games of his last night. Yeah, I like his. I like his hands.
I like Charbonnet.
Yeah, I like his hands. Good football player. You had me with Tajay Spears, right? Like Kendra Miller. It's a ton of these boys, man.
Yeah, I went back to Charbonnet's high school games. His high school games. Yeah, his high school games are murderous. Like he's killing everyone.
How big this kid is, son.
It was like I think he models his game. He was talking about Adrian Peterson. Someone else he said that he liked. Pete says Gibbs is Alvin Kamara light.
Alvin Kamara is on the market, isn't he?
He's got a court case.
Gibbs is more of like a Austin Eckler type. You know what I mean? Because Alvin Kamara is 5'11", 220 pounds, like 218 pounds.
Yeah,
like that's a big boy, man. Yeah. Like that's an actual running back. We just take it for granted because he's a multi-purpose dude. Like when I look at Gibbs, I see more of an Eckler, and you see how long it took Eckler to stay healthy. And then when you look at Eckler as like a body type, Eckler is jacked, son. So to be able to play 17 games running between tackle at that like height and weight, nah, my boy. He's gonna have to hit the weight room major. And I feel like that'll potentially take away from his speed and athleticism.
Well, I was checking out Gibbs and his route running. Yeah, when he puts his foot in the ground, he gets a linebacker in space, and he runs one of those crossing patterns. It's like that's definitely you know those angle routes. He probably kill a lot of linebackers in that situation. But like you're talking about satellite type skill set. when we talk about
Thoughts
Bijan,
on,
we're talking about he could do it all. And Tank Bigsby, he's very interesting, man. I like
one
his
of two
game too.
tanks
Man.
in this draft.
I know Evan had Tank in his
I had
recent
two
mock
tanks.
draft.
I had Tank Dell and Tank Bigsby.
Tank.
Tank Dell is my boy, man.
Little Tank.
That's a flyer right there.
Yeah, man. Those two guys, they consistently ended up in my mock drafts where I would wait for a running back until mid rounds and late, and then I would wait for wide receivers late.
Yeah,
and both those two guys.
The third round every time.
I think he could go back in the second.
I think he ends up a second round pick.
What's the
he can run so fast.
What's the Kentucky wide running back? Got one in second round. No.
You said who that went second round last year or is going this year?
Jersey Jawn. All right, bro. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, man. Have a great weekend. You guys got any big plans for this weekend?
Stretch.
It's good. My sister's birthday. We'll be celebrating my sister.
Baby. Nice. Happy birthday to your sister.
Lindsay. Cozy says Charbonnet in the third is a steal. Too bad he's going in the second.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, AJ Dylan went in the second.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
I think once you get into the second round, you're gonna see a run on a lot of these running backs, yo. Because like people could
There's
justify
a lot of them, man.
it.
Yeah.
So many and like different sample,
Styles,
like different players exactly for different schemes and tastes. Like it depends on what you want. So yeah, I could definitely see like a major run in the second round on some of these running backs that 5-10 years ago would have probably been first round picks.
My worst fear is what was the Donnell Pumphrey draft, man? Like what running backs went that year and we took fucking Donnell Pumphrey?
Well, I know Marlon Mack went after Pumphrey.
Jamal Williams went 2 picks after. Jamal Williams.
I was surprised they didn't make a run at Williams in free agency. But getting Rashad Penny for pennies, bro. No pun intended. Yeah, I would have loved Jamal Williams behind this offensive line, bro.
God. Yeah, but my thing is, you would have never guessed that Jamal Williams would have broke Barry Sanders, one of his records.
Yeah, his touchdown record.
You would have never, if you would have, like, of all people, like Jamal Williams off the top rope.
No, he's a really good dude too, man. Like he's a cool personality. He's a wholesome dude.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely marches to his own beat.
I respect that though, bro. He's
I like
his own person. Yeah.
I like it. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, we could. I mean, I was gonna ask, has anyone watched Jack Campbell from Iowa?
I haven't seen anything on Jack Campbell, but I'm gonna be looking into him, Jason.
Yeah, you're an Iowa guy. Why don't you tell us what? Besides smart, because we're gonna need a little bit more than smart. Yeah. Now Tim says,
just measurable wise, it looks like good.
Now Israel,
that's an interesting
Kanda is a guy who, if I'm going late, again, the guys that I'm waiting for are Izzy and Tank Bigsby. He's one. He puts his foot in the ground as well. Bigsby. I see Tim is doing his homework on day 3, mid round.
I think Jason might be onto something with Jack Campbell, man. We're talking a 6'5" linebacker right now.
Go watch the tape first before you fall in love, bro. Not saying that Jack Campbell isn't good, but just go watch him.
Talking about watching, people are probably watching March Madness. This is the week to do it. Get your March Madness on.
You guys fill out a bracket at all or no?
No,
I did not. Nope.
Let's go Hoosiers.
Mark's putting in some love for Penei Sewell's brother.
How about Marlon's brother, bro? I want some of that. Or Nate Herbig's brother.
Tuipulotu. He also went to USC, correct?
Not bad, bro.
Huh?
He went to USC.
SC. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Cozy chiming in with Dwayne McBride.
I didn't like McBride, bro. Like he just lacked explosiveness. That like he was a between the tackles banger, but he wasn't a dude that was gonna get you, but so much more.
Well, we talking about weekends, man. I'm gonna start my weekend off with some Peruvian food.
Wow,
Nice.
what you getting?
Lomo saltado.
I asked that question as if I know any Peruvian food, so you could have said anything. I would
Because we have Evan's got his running joke. We're gonna get some Ecuadorian food. I fucking one upped you with
fucking
Peruvian.
Peruvian.
Yo, when you're ready to get some Peruvian, let me know.
I'm in, bro. I'm in. I actually tried Honduran food semi recently. Wasn't too great.
Okay, well, all right. Evan's coming off the. He's
Bro,
going off the.
it's all delicious, man. Hey, go get you some rotisserie chicken, some rice. You be all right.
Listen, Lomo saltado, right? I just had it this weekend. It's a plate. You got the rice on the side, and then you got the juice from the meat, right? It's just on the bottom.
The rice, love
right?
That.
It's on the bottom. So then they put up fries on that. So the fries are like crunchy but yet soft with juice on it. And then you put on onions, sauteed with some tomatoes and some bro.
Sounds kind of
all right, bro. I'm hungry now, son.
Yeah, no,
it don't even make sense. It don't even make sense. You mix it all up. It's
guess what I'm having for dinner, Gail? Give you one guess.
Santucci's.
Bang! From the top rope.
This guy, who knows you? Who knows you? You're so predictable,
you
man. Cozy says, my weekend started off at 10 a.m. Woke up late, haven't worked in 2 months, living life. About to pour my third cup of Henny.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Comrade says Peruvian chicken is fire.
That shit is fire, son.
Let's see. Pete. If you don't know Pete, he's got his own channel, cooking channel.
Pete throws it down, bro.
I watch his channel, then I go ahead and just start chewing on my hand.
Feast with Pete. Go check him out.
Pete says Peruvian is one of the best Latin food out there. Will says some cultured bird fans over here. Fancy. Hey, I had tacos last night. Taco Bell too. So.
Hey, Richard. Hold on. We got a new guy up in here. Richard, appreciate you listening to the show for the first time. Hope you return.
Shout out to you, Richard.
Derek Burgess has an all-time favorite Eagle. That's a bust out, bro.
That's it. That's a different breed, right? Derek went to the Raiders after, didn't he?
I don't remember. I remember him being on the team. I don't remember where he went after.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Daniel in Swedentown. He says it's 11 p.m. here. Kids and wife are sleeping. Me in the man cave with all of you.
Appreciate you, Daniel.
Go. What is it? H71 hockey. I know you're big on your Swedish hockey over there. Hey, bro. I do my research on our fans.
871 hockey.
I think that's their I don't know, his team out in Sweden.
Okay, nice. All right, last word before we get out of here. Once again, because free agent frenzy is crazy. It's not sexy. It's a lot of monitoring the timeline. We try to keep you updated with all our posts when we can. If you have any, shout out to all you people in the that have been texting me with information about when news is dropping. I always appreciate that. But we'll give Mal last word, who came off the IR with a back injury.
Still on the IR, bro.
Did the whole pod from the bed.
From the bed.
Not since Misery have you saw anyone give the best performance of their lifetime.
Yo, diet. Nah, man. It's just good to be back with y'all, bro. Glad that I was able to chime in and just chop it up. Always fun to connect with the folks watching. And looking forward to this back getting better, man, and the draft show. I'm excited about that draft show. We put in a lot of work the past couple of years, so that marathon will be fun again, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, dude, I'm looking forward to the draft. I mean, I've officially gone full bore into looking these guys up. There is a lot of talent out here, man. I mean, we picked a hell of a year to have 2 first-round picks. Howie's about to do his work. He's already in the middle of it. I actually saw too. He's going to be. I saw something about restructuring AJ Brown's deal, and I want to say Lane Johnson again, but anyway, it would free up for like $25 million. Which if Howie pulls that one off, bro, CJ, welcome back. Let's get it done. I'm hoping we can retain this defensive backfield, man, because this was the best one that I've seen as far as I can remember, man. So let's go Birds.
Now, if Rome's threatening us with a good time, said now that the schedule opened up with my new gig, I intend to be much more involved with Eagles football.
Good luck on the new gig, bro.
Okay.
Absolutely. Congrats,
time. Let us know where and when. We all can meet up for some Peruvian food.
Buddy. So Kansas City out here working, bro.
Well, they do.
They really got Mike Edwards for $3 million. That's bananas.
Wow. I thought it was $5 million.
Nah, 1 year, $3 million, son.
That's what I read.
And then he picked up.
I sent a tweet to CJ Gardner Johnson telling him that I would give him a $10 allowance on top of whatever salary, $10 allowance per week on top of whatever salary Howie gives him. I'm thinking about dropping that down to $5, considering what the safety market's at right now.
Whoa! Come on now.
Just saying, you get a $5 a week allowance on top of your salary. Philly, it could have been 10 if you signed earlier, bro. Could have been 10.
Philly stole the man's car. On top of that, I mean, come on.
That's why you don't get keys, bro. They're very easy to hijack.
Hey, Rome, I'm not playing, man. Don't play with me. Like, people who know me, I just pull up. I'm like, we're going. Jump in the car. I'm getting Peruvian tonight, but I'll do it again this coming week.
Ew. Where you getting this Peruvian? It's over by you?
Yo, there's some spots in Philly too. There's spots
shoot me some Peruvian over here to Philly, bro. You know where I'm at.
You want me to just drop it off? Uber Eats style? This dude can't even get to the door, bro.
Nah, my wife will get it for me. She'll look me out.
See? All right, we got Conrad. He says there's a new Peruvian spot on South Street. Haven't checked it yet. Okay, is this where we're all meeting? Man.
It might be because I used to get it living in Jackson Heights in New York. We lived in a Peruvian neighborhood. Oh my God, some of the best food I've ever had in my life, bro.
Okay, Rome's gonna pull up from Maryland. Okay,
Rome, you close, bro. Yeah, right around the corner.
Rome moved down south a little bit.
Yeah, Rome right around the corner, bro.
Okay. Last word, man. Appreciate everyone in the comments again. Appreciate everyone reaching out to us with I'm getting texts from the morning all the way to 1 a.m. when people are getting signed in. So I'm trying to keep everything updated for you guys on the socials. If you guys hear anything, let me know. Shout out to my boy Tim. Let me know about all the Chauncey stuff. Shout out to Hollis Thomas, who went to the dentist, man. Shout out to for the hygiene, man.
He's maximizing the sexy, bro. That's what he does.
He went to the Eagles dentist today.
No way.
Yeah, so he had to flex. I was like, "You get free dentist work?" He's like, "Nah, I got to pay."
Did he go? Is that at the NovaCare complex or is that?
I'm like, bro, where? Somewhere farther enough that he couldn't make it back.
I actually, you know what? It's definitely a private practice because I used to work in the same building that it was like the Sixers official dentist. They were on the first floor.
And then shout out to Prime getting his tattoo.
Primo
said he's getting where's he getting the tattoo on?
He said the Mike Tyson across his face.
Oh, I heard he was getting the Tweety Bird Jawn. That's what he said.
Godson across the belly. All right.
You lost already.
But if we hear any news about Chauncey, we'll probably update you guys on that. But for now, enjoy your weekend and have a great time with the March Madness and your family. And make sure you guys stay out with your peoples and make sure you don't get crazy tattoos that you can't
get rid of.
Can't get rid of.
Make sure you don't throw your back out, bro. So you got bills from your bed.
This guy's over here in misery.
MJ out here breaking your back, bro.
Yo, killing me, son.
But we'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, fly, Eagles.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Yeah. Did I hit that?
So you just talking, bro.